All right, so quickly, I want to give everybody 5 videos that you need to do like right away that are proven videos that have done really, really well in other markets and are things that you guys can implement right now, okay? So first video that I would do would be the real estate market is shifting. The real estate market is shifting. And you could put your city name or your area or whatever, but do your first video. Whoa. Market is shifting. There we go. So market is shifting. Second video that you guys need to do, pros and cons of living in Nanaimo, pros and cons of living in Parksville, pros and cons of living in Chemainus. All the area videos around where you guys live and that you serve and sell real estate, do a pros and cons video. Okay. People search this. This ranks really well in the search engines. And I'll give you some different places that you guys can get inspiration from, some people that do really good YouTube videos in the real estate space. Another really good video right now is the top 5 reasons to live in XYZ. So whether it be Nanaimo, whatever city, and you can do it for multiple places. You don't need to go crazy here and have like the most elaborate camera and everything else. Some of you are new, get some content, go catch some B-roll in those areas, even just get in front of your camera and do a 5-minute video. The title matters. Your sound quality matters. So just like make sure you have a good microphone if you can. That is probably one of the most important things you can do when you're creating a video is your sound quality, more so than your picture. Your cell phone is good enough to create good quality content. Okay. So I want you guys to like understand that. Don't sit there in paralysis wondering, well, what should I say and what should I do? Just do something, it works really, really, really well. Another really good video that's going to be helpful for some of your like drip campaigns when you're sending out information is start creating videos on your favorite areas in your marketplace. For example, we live in Nanaimo. Well, Nanaimo has some really cool places like Departure Bay, Hammond Bay, right? North Nanaimo. So create and document some cool videos of your favorite things that you like about these areas. If you're going to be talking to a prospect that's moving into your community and it's like, hey, tell me about this area. Be like, well, actually, I have a video that I did specifically on that area. I'm going to send it to you. Take a look, right? Video builds rapport and trust with your audience. When people have watched your videos, they feel like they know you better when they finally do talk to you. There's science behind this. It works really, really well, right? It's why celebrities are able to make the kind of money that they make, right? Because people feel like they know them, even though we don't know them at all, right? Very, very important. Be authentic. Be yourself. The person that's in front of that camera should be the person that I meet, right? Because what a letdown. Imagine like you meet somebody and you think that they're going to be one way, and it turns out they were literally acting and putting on a complete false front of who they are. And then you meet them and you're just like so let down. So be transparent, be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Favorite Dr. Zeus quote, Joe, nobody's better at being you than you, right? Just be that person.
It's and I think the funny thing is a lot of people get stalled out. Like just show of hands. Most people got video on. Show of hands. Is there anybody who's uncomfortable with the way they look or sound on video? Okay, anybody that put your hand up, put your freaking hand down, pull your head out of your ass. You look good. You sound great. And initially, the people that you're going to be talking to, they already know what you look and sound like too. You're stuck in here.
Yeah. Listen,
push it forward.
It's International Women's Day today, by the way. So happy International Women's Day to all the badass females out there, right? You guys are like, this world, this planet doesn't exist without amazing women. So I just want to quickly give you guys a shout out. And the best thing that you guys can do to help our planet be better is confidence. Ladies, be yourselves, be confident, embrace who you are. You're perfectly imperfect. Just like, listen, I'm just as insecure as anybody else. I'm definitely not the most handsome guy out there. I wish I was, but I'm not. But you know what? I'm me, and I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to enjoy being that person. That's all you can do, right? So embrace who you are. Don't fucking worry if your makeup's perfect, if you're saying everything perfect. Nobody wants to deal with somebody who's perfect. Has anybody ever met somebody who was like so perfect that it made you almost not trust them? Show of hands. I can't stand when somebody I feel like is like really controlling the image that they're putting out and they're not being their authentic self to me. Ask Joe. That is like probably one of my number one pet peeves. You'll never, ever be somebody that I can be super close to if you are not being authentically you. I want you to be your imperfect self because I'm cool with that because I'm perfectly imperfect, right, Andrea Smith? But my heart is good. And you know that. You know that about me, right? Andrea, you know that my actions are different than my words. Sometimes I joke around and I'm goofy and I like to cross the line a little bit, tiptoe it when I'm with jokes and things like that. But like who I am in my heart and the person that I am, you know, is a good person, right?
Yes. And I still love you, even with the really bad jokes.
Andrea, like when I make like politically incorrect jokes, Andrea's always the first to be, that wasn't funny. She's a little more serious when her humor than I am. Dave Chappelle's my favorite comedian, so that'll tell you where I'm at with the humor that I like. So, you know, I apologize, but at the end of the day, I would never want to hurt anybody. So, number 5 video, Joe, you sneak this 5th one in here. What do you got for me, man?
For me, it's the things that you're most passionate about in your community, right? So share a little bit about yourself. Maybe if you've got volunteer work, a foundation that you belong to, a club, a group, a charity, share your passion. Let people in. Let them know what you're interested in, right? People like to deal with people that they like, right? So we had an amazing series that ran about, I guess, about 2.5 years ago. It was Dad Vice. And it was just Jason going, like, sharing sort of what he goes through as being a parent, really, right? But again, it kind of gave a glimpse into Jason. And remember, again, people like to deal with people that they like. So share something that you're passionate in. Also, another one, and kind of a bonus one, small businesses, right? Do some content around some of the small businesses in your neighborhood. Could be a coffee shop, a movie theater, pizzeria, whatever it is. But also, the more people you involve and bring into that sphere and add value, they will also help lift you up. So if I'm featuring like a small coffee shop that just opened up, even if it's not so much a YouTube video, but just a Facebook Live, and I ask if they can share it across their channels, I've now quadrupled the exposure that post is going to get, right? And if it's a YouTube video, same thing. Make sure we're tagging people in. So leverage the people in your community, leverage your passion, and showcase yourself. Those imperfections are what people are going to want to see. And if you are getting stuck, if you're one of those people that put your hand up, a great way to practice being on camera is a Facebook Live, because you cannot go back and edit and tweak. There is no analysis paralysis. It is just massive action. So practice. I mean, I remember the first time that I went on and started doing content with Sims, it took me 27 tries to say Happy Thanksgiving. Just keep that in mind, right? So it's kind of extreme. I just didn't know what to do with my hands, but it was just practice, right?
It had nothing to do with the concussion you had prior.
I also had a concussion. So I would like to blame that, even though the concussion happened in December and our Thanksgiving was October, whatever. But maybe the concussion fixed it. I don't know. But just practice, and just like we are right now, like, have fun with it. That's the biggest thing that you can do, is just have fun.
Now, another little tip for you guys, a YouTube video, 5 to 10 minutes is perfect, is like a good timeline. From one YouTube video, you could probably have like 12 Instagram and Facebook posts, right? Splice that stuff up, repurpose it. I always tell Paige, who does our social media, and she's like films us, I'm like, just have the camera rolling when I don't expect it and when Joe doesn't expect it, because that's when our funniest moments happen. Like, my humor and Joe's humor is just like very unscripted and off the cuff, and it just happens organically in moments. Like, just funny things come about, situations, whatever. So if you're going to go out with somebody who's going to help you with filming your content, just sometimes have them filming even when like you don't even realize the camera's on, because that's some of the best stuff, right? Raw, authentic content. But don't be shy of your camera. Don't be shy of putting yourself out there. Okay. I'm going to give you guys some inspiration. So some people that do this at a very high level in real estate. So first guy I'm going to show you guys that's impressive is Tom Story. You can write him down. Tom Story. He's in a very, very competitive market in Toronto, Canada. very competitive, very hard to like really break through online. He's been able to organically build up, excuse me, 3.84 thousand subscribers. He's done 270 videos over the years that he's been building up this YouTube thing. But look at like how his videos are doing organically. 1.1 thousand, 3.9 thousand, 1.7. Most of his business now is coming from YouTube. He's become an authority. So when like news media outlets in the area are looking for a realtor, they go to Tom. Why? Because Tom has the visibility and he's built up the credibility and expertise. Okay. Another one that is one of our key partners and students that's just started doing this over the last year, but they're really starting to get some good traction, is our very own Rachel Carroll with the Carroll Home Team. Let me show you what she's been able to do. Oops. Blank screen there. Nobody wants to see that. There it is. So they have 369 subscribers, right? Which doesn't seem like this huge number, but that's 369 organic subscribers. 10, 11 months ago when they started this, they had none. But look at their videos. 5.6 thousand views, 7.8 thousand, 5.3, 1.9. So anybody that's in our group, and if you work closely with like Eric Preston, right? She has literally followed his coaching to a T. And they are getting business from these videos. Like people are starting to reach out because these are helpful videos. I haven't even looked, but I bet you there's hopefully some engagement. Look at that. People are engaging, 44 comments. These are real life people that are engaging. And guess what? When they're thinking real estate, they're going to call Rachel. And Rachel's like not perfectly scripted in everything that she says or anything like that. She's just consistent and follows the formula. And if you watch how Tom does his videos, you watch like Eric Preston, how he does his videos, for example, they always start off in the first 5 to 10 seconds. There's a hook immediately that'll draw you into the video. They all have really good thumbnails. Make sure your thumbnail really captures what people are going to see, like something that's going to like get people to click on it. You want something that captures attention, right? Do the basics really, really well. And just find people that you can rip off and duplicate, to be honest with you. The titles really do matter. So research titles. And again, I've given you some really good people that you can follow to kind of help with that. And I think that'll give you guys some inspiration. Don't try to recreate the wheel. Don't try to go outside of the box. If you, right now, just start doing stuff and you guys will love it. Your content is permanent. It's something that like literally is a digital asset for you. And a YouTube video, for example, can last 3 to 5 years in relevancy on the internet. So that's huge, right? Even if you're brand new, like we have some new faces on here. Just by you putting out valuable content and information, it's going to help you build your authority in your market, right? And you can use videos to put them on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and put out helpful tips. When I started in the business, I literally did a helpful tip video every 2 weeks, and I just sent it out to my entire database, and I put it on Facebook. And that was kind of like my strategy, but I consistently did it. And what happened is in a very short amount of time, within like a year and a half, I had been like a consistent market presence. Every time I had a listing, I would do a listing video and I would put it on there and I'd make a big deal. I was like the original person that kind of did that in our market. And man, did it put like our mind share on steroids. I had people that I went to high school with 25 years ago that I barely knew or didn't even talk to in high school, but I was never a dick. I was never a bully to them. They would be like, hey, I've been watching your videos and I'm thinking about selling, right? And they called me. Why? Because they saw my stuff and I was putting out value. So there's a helpful tip for today on things that you guys can go and do right now. And I challenge you guys to spend literally 2 hours to 3 hours a week just doing content. Build it into your schedule and make it so it's not a removable item in that schedule, and just start doing content. You'll thank me. And just take Eric's course. If you guys are in our EXP organization, take Eric's course. It's free to you guys. You guys can learn a lot from it, but don't overthink it. Just get out there and get after it. I promise you guys it works. Question?
And then I was just going to say one more thing for anybody up here in Canada. If you want to see some Canadian agents that are doing amazing, Richard Payne on this call, right? Again, somebody else who took that concept and did an amazing job with it. So you can look up Richard. Richard's done some beautiful videos as well. So check him out too.
Love it. And Joe, you want to move on to another item of value?
Let's move on. So a lot of people have been asking us lately about hiring process, job postings, what we do that's maybe a little bit different than what other people do. So really looking at scaling up and bringing in agents and agent attraction. So, Jay, sort of off the top, what are your thoughts around agent attraction?
My thoughts. Well, I think it's important for anybody that is growing a team. I think you're going to want to be able to attract agents to your team. I think it's helpful if you're looking to grow your brokerage. So if you have a brokerage that you're looking to grow, if you have an agent attraction, like organization that you want to grow, I think it's going to come in handy. Even for some of you that right now are like, well, I'm new and I just want to learn how to sell houses. It's not a bad idea to learn the skills on how to attract talent, because as you become more successful in your business, you're going to need talent around you. Leverage is going to be something that will teach you when you get to a certain level in your business, right, Ryan Dash? Right? There was a point in your business where leverage became really important because you would have stalled out in your growth if you didn't have that leverage. And if you want to learn how to exponentially grow, leverage is going to be absolutely vital and critical. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Ryan.
Totally. I mean, the other thing is when it comes to attraction, if you're attracting a professional or you're attracting a home listing, the attraction principle is the same, right? So, ultimately it's about becoming more attractive, right? And it's a skill set that, yes, I understand where it's going now with agent attract, and that's a whole new piece that I'm working on. But really, the skill set will help you with listings. It'll help you with buyers. It's a very transferable skill set. So 100%.
Awesome.
Love it.
Keep it going, Joe. I'm filling in stuff because Tracy asked for the
Sure.
5 videos where I'm listing them well. So
we actually, for anybody who has access to our content library, we have a lot of our job postings in there. For a lot of the job families in real estate. And what we're doing right now is we're actually going back and redoing them all. So the ones that we had were just very vanilla, very bland. And it's funny, we talked about a hook for YouTube videos. So we've actually started applying that principle to our job postings. And we haven't beta tested it yet. It'll be going out this week. But I'm going to share with you guys kind of a sneak peek. So the other thing I'm going to mention is we're going to talk about 3 new resources today that are not in our content library around agent attraction, job posting, and interview process. So if you want a copy of these new pieces of content, we can get that out to you. Just put your email in the chat, and then I'll make sure that at the end I'll copy and paste them all and get them out to you. So first thing I want to share is I'm going to share my screen out, and I'm going to show you guys kind of our new posting. So for anybody who had a chance to look at our old posting, this is going to look totally different. So what we focused on here, if we look, again, what are we looking for? So a very specific person. So we made sure that we drilled down on that. So again, those who treat the client as if they're the boss, because they are. Those who do the right thing every time. Those who thrive in perpetual beta mode. Those who want to deliver a 5-star experience with each client, those that want to plug into an established brand with amazing systems. Whereas before we would just kind of list, for example, proactive mindset, right? So we kind of structured it out a little bit differently. And then we really hammered in on the why choose the Sims group. So we talked about, our value proposition more than anything, right? So we're a cutting edge real estate team that will not just tell you how to be successful, we'll show you. Then we talked about our focus on digital marketing, social media. So we talked about our marketing pillars. Then we talked about our database, right? Huge value add for us. We have a massive database that honestly, we could have 200 agents in here and we would still have more leads than we would know what to do with. And what does that mean, right? So we talked about what our clients are looking for. We talked about our administrative team, which is, again, best in class, and then just kept breaking it down as to the value that we offer. And just, like I said, laid it out a whole lot differently. Talked about collaboration, talked about fresh perspective and insight. And the one thing we kept coming back to is, we have an award-winning licensed client care team to help supplement a business, right? Because we wanted to get away from that mindset that, we're going to be providing for everybody. We still want people to have that proactive mindset, but again, kept it really general. And if we can go down to page 2 here. So the perks of being on the Sim Real Estate Group's team. So business coaching and mentorship, that is a massive piece of what agents are looking for nowadays, right? If people had the blueprint to do it on their own, they probably would. Again, endless database for buyer and seller leads. We have our team meetings in there, plug and play scripts, processes, templates, which again, these are a lot of things that you guys have out there, graphic design, workflows, and we even included in there, right? The team-based events, the fun stuff, because we want to make sure that we're also showcasing our culture a little bit. Talked about a lot of the dedicated support that we have. And one of my favorite pieces is a line right at the bottom of this. So a little bit more about the Sims Real Estate Group. So we have some of our stats, some of the things that we're proud of, but it is actually fact. We were voted the #1 real estate team in the world 3 straight years by our clients, friends, and family. Little known fact, right? So we kind of put something sort of fun at the end as well. But brand new posting that we have, and like I said, we're going to be beta testing it, but just something almost night and day from what we had. We kind of had that standard vanilla posting in there, and we wanted to kind of change it up a little bit. So that's what we got for a new job posting. So Jay, what are your thoughts?
I love it, man. It's got to have a good hook. It has to be value packed and tweak. But you guys, anybody that's running a team, you should constantly have ads going all the time, right? If you have a value proposition like the one we have, and you want to invite other people to look at an opportunity, have some really good ads out there where you're engaging conversations, right? But you can never, ever, ever pass up when there's really good talent available to you, right? Like I always have made room for good talent in history, and I will continue to make room for good talent because it makes sense. Right? Good people are not a dime a dozen, truthfully. So you need to constantly have your attraction machine going where you're attracting good quality people, because you never know. For some of you that want to expand into new markets, again, you could run these same ads and principles in those same markets and find good talent there. Make sure you have a good value proposition behind you, right? We're really proud. We have an amazing value proposition with what we're doing. And so for us, we're excited to really like start 10Xing our net and casting more hooks in the water, if you want to call it that. But for a lot of you, that's the key to taking your business to the next level is you need to find good people, because you can only get so far off your own talent.
Love it. So next thing we're going to share out is the recruiting call and script. So Jay, maybe you can talk us through this one. I'm just going to pull it up here.
So basically, this is just a bit of a framework for you guys when you're making, like if you're making a recruiting call for an agent for your brokerage, your team, whatever you're up to. Always frame and center yourself before calling. So make sure you're in the right headspace. I think that's really, really important. Make sure that you're understanding that it's going to take multiple touches with somebody before you can bring them over. So that the point here is like, don't be in sales mode, right? Be in value mode. Some of the things that we're really focusing on and learning ourselves, like we're investing heavily to learn how to be better at this stuff ourselves. One of the main goal here is to get an appointment where you can sit down with somebody and really understand their business and where you can help them, right? Anything you can do to handle common objections ahead of time, always a good thing, right? Make sure that you're listening to what they're telling you so that you can cater your responses based on what's most important to them. Just because somebody at first is closed-minded, that's okay. You don't have to give up too early in the call, right? The point here is we're not trying to sell anybody. We're really trying to provide value. If you kind of continually provide value as your framework that you're putting in front of people, eventually, if something goes wrong in the environment that they're in, whether it be their brokerage, the team that they're on, whatever they're doing, you want to be their #1 option that they can fall back to. That's really your objective here, is that you've given them so much value that if anything goes sideways, they're going to come and work with you. Right. Understand too that people are naturally skeptical. They're always expecting like, what's the catch, or like, where's the pitch? Don't have one. Literally just come from a place of like giving really, really great value. And I think that is going to go a long way. Remember, create experiences. So if you can give them an item of value before a phone call where they can kind of get a feel what it's like to potentially work on your team or in your brokerage, that's always a really good asset. Right? Like that's a good way to kind of develop a relationship. Joe, turn it over to you, man. I'm about to go on a coughing fit.
Absolutely. Right. And I think it's just so important that you share that mission statement, that value statement, and just what's important to you, what you're looking for, and the values that you want to portray to your clients. Right. So if you have a mission statement, live it, talk about it, give examples, right? Really important that you have that with you, but also get a really good sense of the person. Again, ask their thoughts on it. Ask how they think that they would portray that. So yeah. Oh, Jay, you're on mute, my friend.
Oh,
there
all
you
right.
go. You're back. And then the last piece of content that we have that I want to spend the next minute going over is, I'm going to pull it up here, is a lot of people don't know what to say during an actual meeting with a possible new agent or somebody who's looking to join the brokerage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So these are some interview questions that you can ask to kind of structure it out. We get asked to sit in on a lot of interviews. And the one thing that I always do is I always come in with a prepared list of questions. Maybe I'll ask them all, but there's certain ones that I know that I want to hit. And, it's so important to add consistency to the interview, right? If you have a spot where you want to bring in one person and you ask, 3 people, all different questions, it's really kind of hard to compare apples to apples, essentially. So this will allow you to actually ask the same set of questions, or at least it's almost like working with like a script or a template. It'll allow you to ask kind of the same questions to everybody just to give you a better idea. One of my favorite questions on here is right here. So number 13. Talk to me about a time when you had to rise above your peers. What is your past record of success? So find out a time where somebody's had to actually go above and beyond and elevate themselves, but really dig deep into the process. What did they do to prove that record of success? When did they win that gold medal? What was the process involved? And that's really the purpose of that question, right? Is to get specific on a time where somebody had to actually, be better than somebody else, right? It's like that champion mindset. Some of the other questions on here are, pretty broad, pretty general, but again, it's just meant for you to kind of move the conversation along and not get really sidetracked. Because I find that a lot of the interviews that we sit in on, you kind of start talking about the weather and sports or music, and you kind of end down this path where the people go, yeah, that sounds like a good person to hire. I'd let them watch my puppy, or I'd go for a beer with them on Friday. But that's not exactly what you need. You need to make sure you're identifying a very unique and key set of skills with each candidate. So this will allow you to actually create a bit of structure in your conversation.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Just a few impactful things that you guys can take away from today. Biggest thing I always recommend, take action. Don't just sit there and think, well, that sounds like a good idea. Go and make a commitment to yourself and go and put it in your schedule and start doing it. Right? If you haven't started doing content, get it booked in your schedule. Like, start going, guys. I promise you, like, you will get success. It's going to take time, but you will get success if you just implement these things. Anybody that's looking to, if you're running your team, go and start getting some ads out there. Indeed's a great place. You can start for free on Indeed, and then you can add a budget. But always have stuff going out there, because you never know who you're going to meet that could change the trajectory of your life. You know what I mean? So guys, let's open it up to any questions. Maybe if anybody has maybe some questions, Joe, we'll stick around for a little bit longer. And
yeah, definitely.
Anybody have questions, post them in the chat or put your hand up. Ryan, let's start with you, brother.
Yeah, I got a question. Okay. So the attraction kind of side of things, it has really kind of been ramping up on our end. Again, we weren't really all that interested in it for the first 6 months, but once you start making a name for yourself, realtors notice, right? And then they start asking questions, and before you know it, you're in these conversations. And the problem, or not a problem, I guess the issue that I have is they all want to join the Vancouver Life Real Estate Group, and they're not super interested in EXP. And I don't want a team of 100 people. And so I'm trying to now find a way to navigate them into the EXP channel while providing them with all the value that they're theoretically going to get by being on the team anyways, right? But it's that identity that I think is a big part of where I'm dropping the ball. And just before I let you guys go, the other thing I will mention is when I'm having these conversations, I'm having far more success when I am basically like the girl who plays hard to get, if that makes any sense. You know, like if I'm asking questions or if I'm really selling EXP, it couldn't push them further away faster, right? So the harder I play to get, the more interested they become, right? But the problem I'm having now is, where do I put them?
So here's the question. Here's the thing. Number one, people are always expecting a sales pitch at some point. So avoid doing that. Always give value. All you focus is on them. You're going to need to focus more on understanding why they're looking in the first place and really what's important to them. That's what you need to understand first. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you need to understand that it's going to be a multi sort of like, you're going to have multiple touches with them, third-party validation. And this is like for anybody, whether it's EXP, REMAX, I don't care what brokerage you're with, like any model that involves like showing your value proposition, make sure it has multiple touches, value, understand the prospect first, always understand that first, give them some things that they can do a deeper dive on, right? Let them kind of like do their own research, and then have another, maybe a third-party validation call where you bring somebody else in that maybe can bring value. I think too many times people think they, on one phone call, they're going to like persuade somebody to change their brokerage or, change the trajectory of their life. It's not going to happen on one call. It happens where we find 3-4 different touches over a period of time. So that would be my advice to you, Ryan, is just really get to understand what's important to them first and provide value. Give them an example of what it's like to work within your group, right? So like what you're trying to get them to experience, have them experience that over, like have a courtship period where they're involved in some things over a period of time. And I think what you'll do is you'll see a lot of people over time be like, wow, this is a no-brainer.
So one of the things you introduced into our group was the daily huddles, right? And honestly speaking, with every other realtor I talk to about coming over to EXP, they have no structure in their day, right? And so when they come in and they just a fly on the wall on one of our meetings, they fucking love it. Like they love the structure, right? And it just gets them going for the day. But I tend to agree with what you're saying. I have noticed a market change when I stopped selling EXP and started asking them, why are they even interested? Right? Exactly. That whole getting their perspective. And then what Dan and I have actually done now is we're actually doing social events now once a month. So we're having all these conversations all the time. And then at the end of every month, we're having a 3 to 5 happy hour where we're bringing 30 plus agents from everyone we've been talking to that month. And then those people can validate inside of the room. They meet our EXP partners, they meet us. And I'm hoping that we're going to start to see some more traction out of that as well.
Yeah. Just remember, give value. If they realize that like they're getting more value working closely with you, even before they've ever even committed to anything, you can never go wrong with value. This goes for real estate. This goes for business building, team building. Like this is universal. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please always focus on value. Cool. And not everybody's going to see it. Not everybody's going to see it right away. People take time, right? You guys took time. I took time. People take time to see things, right? Whether it's whatever brokerage you're part of. So be patient, man. Have fun with it and have confidence in what you guys bring to the table. And I think you guys will do just fine. Great question, man. Anybody else?
Actually, I do have a question.
Please.
So starting off as a new agent, new to the industry and just kind of new to the EXP period. Now that I'm starting to get a lot more kind of things set up, being on with the board, kind of getting a lot of my apps and my kind of things going. What I'm really kind of struggling right now is trying to figure out how much time and where I want to dedicate my time and my training and my resources starting off. Because it feels kind of overwhelming, because it's like you have all this training that's available. You have all these, different kind of things that are available to you. So how do I make the best use of my time? And that way I kind of start off on the right foot, and that way I don't just kind of spread myself too thin, just trying to learn everything at once.
Yeah, great point. So here's what I always tell people. Reading is great, like learning is great, but nothing beats doing. So you should be spending 90% of your time taking massive levels of action on your plan, right? So if you haven't done a business planning session yet with Joe, for example, get a business plan so you have a clear, direct idea of exactly where you need to spend your time, and spend 30 minutes a day on learning, maybe, right? Block it in 30 minutes, cap it at that, right? Or maybe it's 2 hours for the week, cap it at that. Have it already pre-built what you want to focus on, but the remainder of your time needs to be on massive action, right? When it comes to content creation, Enrique, what you need to do, block out 2 to 3 hours in your calendar a week and create your content, create multiple pieces of content, and just start recording and just start doing stuff, right? But then focus on like your measurable activity plan that you create in your business plan, which is, you need to be out there prospecting. You need to be talking to people. You need to be networking. Like that is where you're going to get your business from, right? Your content stuff is going to help over time because it's going to help you build mind share. So it's going to warm up your audience when you have conversations, but you have to absolutely be obsessed with action, right? The one thing that I did that was probably the smartest thing I ever did, and this is like what I found with our most successful people too, is maybe I was too stupid, which made me smarter because I didn't overthink everything and I didn't try to learn and like be like, well, is there a better way? Or what about this? Or what if this happens? And then I spend 8 hours researching down a black hole of nothing, really. And I come back to the same point where I haven't taken any action. So always be in action mode. That like, you can never go wrong with that. Less is more sometimes. So yes, we put all this value and all this content and training, and it can seem overwhelming, but like you have to simplify it by having a very clear plan. So like one of the things that's in your one-page business plan is skills training. Well, what you have on there, that's what you need to focus on, but you need to block out time for it. And again, 30 minutes a day. If you're newer, maybe you're doing a little bit more, but like really it's the action mode that's going to get you where you want to go, brother.
So we actually have a business planning session coming up on March 15th at 1 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be for 90 minutes. So if there is anybody who wants to be added to the invite via Zoom, put your email in the chat and I will add you to that invite. But we are running a business planning session next week. So yeah, please put it in and then I will just do a quick copy and paste. I'll add everybody to the invite. Great place to start if you're a new agent, right?
Yeah. And again, number one mistake new agents make is they always are trying find the path of least resistance, the easiest way to do anything. And they don't want to do the hard work. The hard work is you got to put yourself out there. You have to be committed to your action plan and having conversations. If nobody knows you're in real estate and you're not having any real estate conversations, then where the fuck do you think your business is going to come from? I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to just magically show up on a silver platter. You're going to have to be gritty. You're going to have to work. Like that's just straight up like the truth, guys. And that works every time, right? I mean, Joe Langdon, right? Like you're a great example. Like when you make things happen, when you're doing your activities consistently every day, magic seems to continually happen for you, right? And it's the same. Like, why is our team so consistent with our results? It's because we're constantly doing those little things every single day, every single week, and it compounds over time. And some of you may not see a paycheck for the first 3 months, 6 months, but you have to have blind faith in your process and be consistent with your action. And I guarantee you, you will succeed as long as you don't give up. You will succeed. It's foolproof if you just do the action. But the reality of it is a lot of you won't stick to the activities because you're like, oh, I've been calling for the last 2 weeks and I don't have any business yet. So this doesn't work. It's like, well, fuck yeah, you're going to have to do that consistently for longer than a couple of weeks. Now, some of you are going to get results quickly. I was able to get results quickly, but not everybody does. And part of that is like your skills too, right? Are you working on your skills? So I hope that kind of like hits the point, Enrique, that like massive action is really what you need. You're going to learn a lot from just being out there and skimming your knees. Find some good mentors. Anybody that's new, like for our brokerage, for example, you will have an assigned mentor. That's a really helpful program. Take advantage of that. We have tons of training resources to get you guys out of the gates, but nobody can do the work for you. So that's the part that you got to really get after it.
Yeah, thank you. Because I think I was focusing maybe on a little too much of learning how to kind of navigate all the tools, and now it just kind of it does put things into perspective and kind of made me realize what the actual objective is right now.
Yeah, it's talking to people, man. Have something to talk to them about, right? Learning your market, right? Spending time doing that, getting out there and showing properties, getting in front of the right people, and it'll come together. It's a business that you have to learn by doing. I mean, anybody that's experienced in this will attest to that. Like, I could tell you every scenario you're going to go through, but until you go through those scenarios, none of it will stick. Richard, Daryl, Ryan, you guys agree with me? Deb, like, it's just like, it's an action business, right? It really, really is. And it rewards people that take it. So it's not about being the smartest. It's sometimes being the hardest worker and most consistent.
Jason, to your point, I'm literally after this meeting, I'm going to be posting a social media video that I made yesterday in my Under Armour outfit with my hair all screwed up and no script about how the market's changing, because I had just gone through 6 different showings where every single realtor had something to say about it. And I was so compelled that I felt like people needed to know. So being really genuine with that video, not really having perfect action or script. I could go over it 100 times and make it perfect, but it's not going to change. The message is important, and doing the content is important. And I did one not too long ago for a house that sold for $1,450 a square foot up the street from me. And it was a 100-year-old piece of shit. And I went online and it was imperfect. And I did exactly what you're talking about. And I got nearly 7,000 views in a week. And now I'm going through different open houses and realtors are pointing out, hey, I saw that video you posted about that crazy sale over there. And lo and behold, it's happening in front of clients, and the clout that I have is building. The reputation that I have is building. And it's about massive action. It's not about anything else.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I say this, like, A students don't always do the best in life because they are so obsessed with like perfection. Whereas like C students just know to ask questions sometimes because they're like, I don't know this. And they just stop and ask for directions. So sometimes being a really smart is almost makes you dumber because you complicate things because you think everything has to be more complicated. And you're like, well, it can't be that easy. And it just is. It just is that easy. Easy in the sense that like, you got to talk to people. Everybody has a need for housing. Remember that. We're very lucky in our industry. People are either owning or they're renting. And then sadly, there's a small percentage of the population that are homeless. But for the most part, people rent or they own. Most renters aspire to own one day, right? Most owners will have life events that will create events where they need to like downsize or upsize, right? Maybe they start off, they buy a condo and then all of a sudden they have a baby. Well, now they're looking for a house, right? Maybe they're in a big house. Now their kids are all grown up and they're realizing they don't need 4,000 square feet and they need to downsize. Death happens, sadly. So you got estate opportunities. You have, again, life events that are happening. So divorces, 50% of your clients are going to get divorced at some point. Keep a relationship with them after the fact, right? That way there's going to be business. I hate to say it, but divorce is good for our business. Death is good for our business. It's a sad reality, but it just is. So give good service, have a system where you have opportunities of people that you can build rapport and trust with. Put content out there to maximize your mind share with people that are thinking real estate, right? Work on your digital footprint. And it starts with that first video and then you compound it with a second one and then it builds. All of you that are new have really great lead generation websites, right? kvCORE is an amazing website. Learn how to use that and then learn some of the marketing strategies, right? If you have the budget, and invest in some good online lead generation and we can teach you some strategies on how to convert that. If you don't have any budget, learn how to manage those campaigns yourself and try and maximize the budget that you can. But having opportunities come in on a daily, weekly basis makes a big difference, right? Like Joe Langdon, how many times in your career now that you've been in real estate have you had to worry about like having people to talk to? You have the opposite problem. You got so many opportunities that you're like, fuck, we need more people, right? But you've never, ever had to think like, well, who can I call today? Have you?
No, not once. No,
Not once. So you can set that up too for yourself, right? That's where good investment and good lead generation and systems will create abundance of opportunities. That combined with building out your personal brand, putting out content, and then working your sphere of influence, your personal contact list. You guys should all be working on that. Those 3 areas our foolproof plan to like dominate. And that's how I did 125 sales in my first year. I focused on those three things, those three things only. And I just like stayed laser focused on the action. I was having 20 plus real estate conversations every single day consistently without fail. So you'd see me in my office. I had my freaking Justin Timberlake headset on. Too bad I don't look like Justin Timberlake, but anyways, I had the headset on and I was pacing down the halls. I'd get noise complaints every day at my brokerage that I was at. Eventually I had to go get my own space because I was sick of the noise complaints, but I was taking action. I was doing bomb videos, calls, texts, emails, and I just kept trying to come from a place of value. And my mindset was, two things are going to happen. Number one, we're going to do business because you're going to see that I'm genuine about helping you and bringing value. Or number two, you're going to tell me to fuck off. And I'm cool with either option. I had to get a thick skin. I'm sensitive, but you know what? I learned to just move past the rejection. It's just part of the game. You're going to get rejected. It happens every day. You're going to get rejected, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I don't need everybody's business. I just need enough business that I can create the life that I want for myself and the partners that I have. And I've been blessed to be able to do that. I'm rambling, Joe. Any other questions? No?
That's it.
That's it. Well, guys, go take massive action right now. It works. It's not sexy, but it works. It's effective, and start somewhere and don't overthink it. And you guys will, in time, the compounding effect, it works every time if you just don't give up. So hope this was valuable, guys. Have an amazing day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you really found this valuable, smash the like button below, subscribe to our YouTube page, and then look for more amazing content.